Alright, we are at Violette's Lock on the upper Potomac. Okay, Violette's Lock is really just below a couple football fields downriver from Seneca Landing and Riley's Lock. Okay, it's a smaller lock, but we're going to walk out and kind of check and see what the conditions are on the river today. It's a great little parking lot. You got it behind me, you can see. Really access. This is where we put the guys on. I'm going to put the guys on the river tomorrow, about a quarter of a mile down this tow path that we're walking on right now to our makeshift kayak launch. That we use, and they're going to go down to Pennyfield tomorrow. So it's a nice little float, but the water's way up. But they're going to be able to have an opportunity to check that out. I'm going to turn this camera around, and we're going to walk down here to the upper Potomac main river channel. You could launch. You certainly could launch from right here, right off the parking lot. There's also the real launch above the lock, which is probably really easy now to launch from. This is going to give you an idea of really what we're looking at with the river and how it's been up so much. So what you have behind me right here is a cut that you could just go right out to the main river channel. Now we are below Old Dam 2, which is right up there, okay? Seneca Landing is above Old Dam 2, okay? On the Maryland side. You have it directly across from Trump National Golf Course, and then further up on the Virginia side, you've got Algonquin National Park. So a lot of guys will go out Seneca Landing in their boats. Jet boats, kayaks, canoes, doesn't matter. It's deeper water, and they'll head upriver. If you come left out of Seneca Landing, you're going to come down to Old Dam 2 where I am right now. It's called Violette's Lock on the C&O tow path, the C&O Canal. Okay? Now, in conditions that exist now currently with the river up 5 and 6 feet, you can run your boat all through this section right now. Your John boat, trolling motor, whatever you want to go on. Whatever you'd like, okay? Because the river's up. So again, all the rocks are now submerged. They're under this, and you can see what I'm talking about here. Now, if you watch any of my other videos from this location, you know that there's usually 500 big rocks, boulders, all through here. Okay? This section right here is really the only section that's exposed, okay, above the surface. Everything else is under the surface, all the way out into the main river. That right there, locals on the Maryland side, for the most part, it's kind of like been virtually adapted, refer to it as the breaks or Seneca breaks. Okay, most people who grew up on the Virginia side, they usually call this area of the river Rouser's Ford or Old Dam 2. I never really heard that breaks kind of terminology until moving up to Maryland, on the Maryland side, and it's kind of gotten adapted. You know, and it makes perfect sense because it is a break in the flow of the river for almost a freaking half a mile really as the river descends down towards Pennyfield, and it'll go all the way to the islands. Okay, the breaks. Now we've got high water. Okay, so we're up like 5 feet here. All right, and so it's really just running now. It's really just flat out flow, current flow down. All the rocks are submerged. There's no real breaks to it at the moment when our water levels get like this. I'm gonna throw this up a little bit, and you can kind of see how this is coming down through this cut between what normally is a small little canal. It's not the canal, but it's like it forms like between the islands, almost a canal that goes down. And usually the smallies get trapped up in here during the summer and early fall when there is a high water event, because they come in, and then when the water recedes, they get trapped in there. Because of what the pattern and transition is happening for the wintertime, I'm not really sure if that's going to happen or not. We'll have to check it out and see in the next week or so as the water comes down towards the end of the month. Whether or not that happens in the wintertime, that's usually a spring and summer, early fall phenomenon. But we'll have to take a look and see if that happens. But you can see the flow here. But these are your conditions right now, like I said, below Old Dam 2. Now I'm going to go up and we're going to do a video above Dam 2, and you can kind of see how the difference is and just the difference of what you have going on in the river above the Old Dam 2. Now most of the dam is now, the ledge is now submerged in 3 feet, probably 3.5 feet of water. There's still some of the timber and rock exposed that's normally readily visible for Old Dam 2, because you can walk right across that thing almost all the way to the Virginia side in the middle of the summertime. The sections below me, about a quarter of a mile below where we normally put the kayaks in, it's perfect wade fishing throughout the year, because it's normally pretty, it's normally shallower. So guys can walk in 2 feet of water basically between all the islands, and hit all the islands and the points and all that, and the new grass on the Virginia side. You can go all the way to the Virginia side, in all that, whereas the Maryland side tends to be more rock like this. A lot more rock, a lot more boulder, a lot more pools like that created by rocks, a little bit of deeper water. So it's just interesting to see that both sides of the river are very, very different, and you can fish them very, very different. And so it's going to be really interesting. The other day, it was really just a rising water. It was just a spinnerbait bite. Everything else, you could see that the water, definitely, if you saw the video from last week, before all the rain, the water was clear, crystal clear. Now it's stained up, it's muddied up. All the confluences, all the creeks are dumping all the water from the storm drains, from all that into the river. It's making it very, very muddy in a lot of sections. But it'll be interesting to be out there on the water tomorrow to find those sections of a little bit of clearer water. Okay, so that's just a little update here from the river. Violette's Lock, Upper Potomac, C&O Canal, below Old Dam 2, okay, which is below, like I said, Seneca Landing and Riley's Lock on the Upper Potomac.